everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today I have something kind of fun planned and something that I haven't done in quite a while. When I was in high school and, Valentine's Day was such a kind of important thing and, having a boyfriend and whatever is so important when you're so young. And I remember one Valentine's Day I had a friend of mine that had just gotten dumped by her boyfriend. And it was real sad, and we were all trying to support her in the best way possible, so I thought it would have been fun to create some fun Valentines for all of my girlfriends, and I actually ended up finding a little recipe, if you will, for a scratch-off lottery ticket style design, and I was kind of thinking, I wonder if I could use that same strategy to create scratch paper, kind of like that full black paper that when you scratch it with a toothpick, it will create designs in it. So I kind of wanted to test that out today and see if it would work. I have a tiny little test sheet of paper right here. She's a little wet from a little water I just had on my hands, but I do intend to completely cover her in watercolor anyway. I'm going to use watercolor pencils to create a wash over the background, and then I'm going to use a mixture of crayon wax, something that everyone should have at home, dish soap, and acrylic paint to create a scratch piece. So let's just see if this works. As I mentioned, I'm starting off with my watercolor pencils. I obviously think this would be better if we did it in kind of a rainbow style, but I thought it would be fun to try something a little unique and maybe go for a more pastel kind of color palette. So I was thinking it might be nice to do this like really soft yellow and this really light, maybe not. Maybe I should go dusty. We'll go with the deep green and a little bit of pink, and part of me wants to go toward the white, but I don't think that's going to show up. Maybe orange is the way to go. Yeah, this is a softer orange. And this just kind of feels like a really muted neon palette. That was a choice. Do I want blue? Nah, I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to stick with these like highlighter colors almost, these like pastels. Maybe they'll come off more neon, I'm not totally sure, but I'm going to kind of scribble them all over a little bit kind of randomly, and then I'm going to come in with my favorite watercolor brush and kind of spread it out and see what kind of cool designs we can come up with. Alright, well, it didn't turn out exactly the way that I'd hoped. It's a little muddy. To be fair, I did pick some pretty dusty colors, which, yeah, it kind of looks gross, but I'm kind of hoping that once I actually get the paint on, it will not look as gross. Now that all of that's done, you're going to want to grab a single white crayon. I've also seen people do something similar with like a white candle, just so that they'd get the wax. That's what's important here, is that we're kind of forming a layer over top of the paper. So I am going to take this white crayon over my completely dry design here, and I'm going to cover it as much as possible. So for me, it's not always super easy to tell, but it does kind of lighten it a little bit, just since it is white. So I'm not going all the way to the edges just because I didn't really prepare for that. I'm not trying to ruin my paper. So I'm just kind of going close to the edges. You can see it's flattened out quite a bit. You just need enough to cover. You don't need to use necessarily a whole lot or go over it in a bunch of layers. One has worked fine for me in the past. So that is again what I'm doing here. Whoops. It'll feel pretty waxy when you rub your hands over it, which is exactly what you want. This is the barrier, so that when we put the paint on top of it, it doesn't sink into the paper and just kind of sits on top so it can be scratched. Whoops. And I used a fair amount of the white crayon. Now what you're going to need is something to mix, some black acrylic paint, and the mystery ingredient, which is going to be Palmolive dish soap. I'm pretty sure it can be any dish soap, but I have pretty much only used Palmolive for this. Alright, I've got a little tray here. I'm put a little bit of black, well, enough that I think will cover. And then, I don't think it's necessarily equal parts. I can't even totally remember. I'm just going to eyeball it. Get a nice mix up there, and you're going to take a brush and mix together. The best part about this is it kind of low-key smells awesome. So once you've got it nice and mixed together, I actually have no idea what the dish soap is supposed to do. I think it just thins it out and makes it easier to scrape. Though acrylic paint is already pretty thin, so I'm just going to go with what I've done in the past and not argue. It's worked, so no complaints here. I've never tried to use it in this way. Oh yeah, that definitely thins it out. Like trying to like create specific designs in the past, I've only ever tried to like scrape all of it off, and that's worked really well. So on this one, I'm gonna try to do 2 layers so that it's fully opaque, like a normal scratch off sheet, scratch art. I'm just gonna call it scratch art sheet would be. Alrighty, I think we're pretty dry, and I think this would be the time where I, being the perfectionist I am, if that's what I could really call myself, I don't know if that's an appropriate term, being the Enneagram type 3 that I am, I want this to look good, even if it's not really supposed to, or if it doesn't matter. So I am gonna cut the ugly edges off so it looks like I painted all the way to the edge and all the sides. I'm suddenly like really nervous that this isn't gonna work in the slightest. Maybe because it's like super thin or something. I don't know why I'm really nervous about this. I know I did it on cardstock in the past. But I'm really afraid it's not gonna work, and I can't quite put my finger on what went wrong. It just doesn't feel right. But I am too lazy to run downstairs and get a toothpick, so I'm gonna use the scoring tool for my Cricut. I don't know, wish me luck. I'm gonna start in the corner here. Yes! Ah! It works. Okay. Yay! I don't know why I'm surprised. It's worked in the past. It's just, I feel like it's been so long that like I forgot what it's supposed to look like. And it's not perfect, don't get me wrong, but like I did it. So, okay, I guess I can do, what kind of art should I do? Let's do my little brush from my logo. I'm kind of happy. I don't know about y'all, but this was fun. And actually, I think the colors turned out pretty good. Like if you look at it the right way, I guess the angle that I was looking at it, it was kind of jank, but it did work. So I don't know, I guess I can't really be mad. So I don't know. Yeah, that's really all I had to say. I hope you enjoyed coming on this wild journey with me today to see if this is something I could even make work, but I don't know. This was fun. It was a fun, like, tiny little project, and I feel like this would be really cool to do, you know, if you just have some paint laying around. And you wanted to do something fun with, you know, kids that you're babysitting, or if you think that you can actually make something really cool out of this, that would be even better. I actually have some kind of cool ideas to see like how this could go in a certain direction. Like if you wanted to create a certain design and have certain colors kind of reveal themselves underneath, that would be really, really cool. But, you know, I just don't really have the time to do all that today, so maybe sometime in the future I can try to really expand this and make this like a really cool and unique piece of art. But that is all I had for you today. I wanted to thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw, feel free to like and subscribe. I put out new videos every Sunday at noon Eastern Standard Time, and I would love for you to be here for the next one. Thanks again so much, and I hope to see you then. Bye!